The Lower East Side to me is, first of all, my place of birth, my homeland, um, my hometown. It's everything. The only thing I know, because I was born in the late 50s, so it was around the time of the Beatles and Motown, and um, a far different place. Um, um, it was clean. It was diverse. It was fun. There was, we didn't have the technology that kids have today. So everything that we did had to be done with, old-fashioned games, hopscotch and jumping jacks and jump rope and games we made up. What I've always liked, because it's home, it's the fact of knowing that you know every square corner of it, so you feel kind of a security because it's home. And so when the world is changing around you, even back then, when I was my early childhood and teenage years and to my older years in adulthood and now raising children, the fact that it is my home, and I used to know literally and still know literally many, many people from the community. They also now know my children. They knew me. Gentrification brings seems to me the while it brings all those things that we should have had, because especially the Lower East Side. The Lower East Side, I can't compare it to the Bronx. I can't compare it to Harlem. I can't compare it to Brooklyn, their neighborhoods, because I don't know those neighborhoods. I know the Lower East Side, and it's a diverse community of Italian, Irish, Puerto Rican, African American, but it seemed that when I was very, very young, my parents had, and my aunts and uncles had many, many friends of all. It was white, Italian, Irish, and parties, and that the family, parents had the baseball teams they had and everything, and so you didn't know what your differences were. The bad thing is, I live on the Lower East Side of Manhattan, which has its own particular history, and due to that history, or due to the world that we live in, the United States, New York City, these things should never have gotten to such a decay. Because the decay also caused a divide in the peoples. The haves and the have-nots, even back then, but you didn't know it, not at 13, not at 14, not at 15, but there seems to be, you start to recognize as you grow older that there is a difference. What communities are being well kept, even in your own community. The good thing about gentrification is my children are not as affected, because I had the opportunity to maybe leave the community for a minute and a half, like a little while, and so their options in school sort of then changed because now they were in a more diversified school. And as a parent, it was important for me, because of my education, because of my background, or because of what I've, the impressions of what you feel people are thinking about you as a culture, or as a person, as a race. You want to make sure that you exemplify the best of it, and so you're in these communities that, while it's not gentrified, it's certainly a different community than what you're accustomed to. The sad thing is, for the people like myself, the older crowd, you know, um, our time has come, and so therefore, move along, move along. And so there's not really, it's mostly eating, and I guess if you want to have a drink or two, you might be able to go to an old dive. And even the old dives are kind of changed, which is kind of cute, not too much, like 169 bar. But really, I can't say, there's a lot of restaurants. This Mother's Day, I will be going to a new place that my sisters have discovered. So, every summertime is coming, so there's new places to discover. Because I don't think some of these shops stay open for very long anyway. Sometimes because of the prices, they're outpriced, and they eventually leave, and something comes to replace it. So, Loisa's really, really still a place of discovery. It's not complete. It's not finished. It's still a work in progress.